managed to buy myself a whole new car. I'm driving a BMW now from a Peugeot. That's a good
Lovely,
upgrade.
lovely.
I'm setting on a marketing offer now that pays me a base of 1,500 and then 10% comms on a £3,000 ticket.
So we're here with Caden today. Caden, introduce yourself.
I'm Caden. I've been setting with Callum and Sam. Well, working with Callum and Sam for the last, I think, 9 months.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Tell us a bit about your beginnings and where you're at now, really.
So I started setting about a year ago. Wasn't making anything. Was struggling. Was about to give up doing setting, and then I reached out to Callum, and here we are now, doing pretty well for myself. Doing
For
pretty
sure,
well.
man. For sure, bro. I think my favorite thing about all of these is being able to go to some of, the clients that we work with for a longer time and seeing kind of the whole entire process, the whole entire journey, being
Yeah,
able to see where you was when you came to where you are now. I mean, some of the wins you've got recently is just crazy. I mean, you've just bought yourself the car that you're sitting in right now,
yeah.
which is just crazy work. All through saying, which is
All
really
through
sick.
seconds.
Um, so it's like just being able to see the progress of some of the students and especially with you as well, it's just crazy to see. So it's super, super sick to see how much you've progressed over time. So one of the main questions that I wanted to ask straight away was obviously, as you said, you was trying setting alone before you reached out to me. And
Yep.
what I wanted to know is what do you really think the difference was before starting to when you started? What do you think that real change was that actually made the difference for you?
So when you're working by yourself, you only really have access to like YouTube videos and anything you can find online, but you don't really have access to somebody that's experience to ask questions. Work with on a one-to-one basis. I felt like that was definitely the thing that sold me. Having that support when I need it, being able to ask questions, being able to make mistakes and then learn from the mistakes.
Yeah.
Role
And
playing,
again,
everything like
it's
that.
like having that second opinion at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I think one thing for me as well, but it's like it's when you try to do something alone, quite often or not, we can kind of tunnel vision the wrong things. Like it's really easy to just get stuck up in our own ways because I kind of guess that's just what our ego says. Like it's kind of a thing where we don't really want to be proven wrong. We want to get it right first time all the time. And sometimes it is a case where it doesn't really work out that way. And what often can happen is when you've got a skill and a vehicle that can actually push you towards your goals, but you're just driving it wrong at the moment, it can feel like the vehicle doesn't work. The vehicle works. It's just right now you haven't got the right destination. You're not driving the car right, which I think is probably the main benefit of, stepping towards getting a mentor or joining a community somewhere where you can actually streamline what you're learning and put it
Yeah,
directly into place.
definitely.
So another thing that I wanted to build off that actually was asking what really attracted you mainly to joining Accelerate Scaling?
Mainly, I'd say it was obviously the one-to-one. That's definitely the main thing that sold me. Having somebody that can hold me accountable. Because I feel like when you're doing it by yourself, you can have your lazy days and there's not a group of lads all hungry. Like, you've got competition. There was no competition. It was just me, and then I'd have a good day, and then I think, oh, that's good enough. I won't work any harder. That was the main thing.
No, 100%, 100%. I think, to be honest with you, it's something that I've been touching on recently, with a lot of the other students as well, is that sometimes you just need that friendly competition because especially when you're from, maybe a smaller town, you don't have a lot of, like-minded friends at that point of time. What ends up happening is there's no one to hold you to that standard, right?
Yeah,
And no one holds you to that standard, you don't actually have a reference point. You can't look at someone else around you doing well because there is no one else, right? And what happens there is that when you're actually trying to think, okay, well, what do I do now? Where should I push myself to now? There's no one to go off, which is one of the best things about having, especially a community, because you step into that community with like-minded people all around you that all hold you to a specific standard. Because obviously you have that innate competition need, right, where you want to be the best. But it's like when you have friendly competition where each person is, pushing themselves further, someone gets a win, you congratulate them and it motivates you to get a better win. That's something that's really, really powerful. And I think genuinely compounds a lot of the results that you can produce from yourself.
yeah, definitely.
So, given that you said the one-to-one pushed you a lot, and then also just having that kind of community around you that you might not have had outside, what do you
Yeah,
think is probably your favorite system that we have within the community?
that is a good answer. Probably the Loom tickets. You know, if I've got anything I need to know, I
Mhm.
can just put a Loom ticket in and I've got it.
Yeah, Loom
I've got a
tickets are
specialized video.
they're so overrated. Underrated, sorry.
Yeah,
Let me restart that one. Yeah, Loom tickets, they're so underrated. And it's one of those things where if people utilize them the way that they was meant to be utilized, bro, I'd be working non-stop, but everyone would be getting the most streamlined advice. Like Loom tickets, they're one of those things that you don't see often either, because I suppose it's a bit more of a system that not everyone knows how to implement. But having a system where you can send in a ticket, which literally just includes a topic, you know, maybe some sort of screenshot or URL link that you need to apply to it, and maybe some reasoning to what you want and a timeline, when I can just create you a Loom that covers exactly what it is that you are looking for, it's such streamlined advice because you've got the one-to-one chat, you've got the Loom support, and you've got the one-to-one calls. It's like it's almost foolproof on the entire kind of scale of, oh, I didn't know what this is. I didn't know how to overcome this. Okay, now I've got video education. Now I've got a one-to-one call. And it's just like everything A to B is kind of covered. And I think it's why it's such a strong system that we've implemented.
yeah,
Obviously, Caden, going back to what you were talking about with the community, I feel like one of the most overlooked aspects of community is the, again, like just having that environment, an environment where you know what the standards are. You know the other boys also uphold the standards. So then it's just a no-brainer for you to also uphold the same standards as well. And I think something that again gets overlooked so much is as well as environment, but just networking, being able to talk to like-minded individuals and individuals that again are even ahead of you to the point where again that kind of friendly competition comes into play, not only to benefit yourself, but then also to benefit the networks that you can build within it. Obviously, you had that offer a little while ago where it was your offer owner obviously reached out to you and kind of said like, we want to take you to Miami because you've never been to America before. Again, that connection, that conversation only came about because you put yourself out there and you made these connections, you networked with these people.
yeah. Networking is definitely very beneficial. You can get lots of opportunities from it. And even just having a conversation with somebody that's doing better than you can learn just one singular thing from them and, take that on board and improve from that. But yeah, networking, everyone needs to be doing it. It's the best way
Yeah.
to, go further than just setting.
The thing about networking that I think is so great, obviously we spoke about, being able to have that reference point through having a standard, but having that network reference point is also really important too. When you have a community of people or even just the mentors themselves, they can kind of put you into rooms that you wasn't even able to open the door for. And I think that's so great because I think overall mentorship is one of those things that really makes networking so cookie cut. Because if you've got any questions about how to network, you get answered quite easily. And also on top of that is you get access to a network anyway from joining these communities, right? Whether it's just the boys themselves or it's the people that the boys know or the mutual relationships that the boys have already. But on top of that as well, it's like people don't network and people don't take advantage of networking because they don't see the initial benefit of it, right? Because our brains are conditioned to this idea that, you go to a shop, you hand them money, you get the chocolate bar, right? And that's
Mm.
some sort of instant exchange. You don't get that from networking. Maybe you get a bit of knowledge from meeting them or speaking to them, but the actual gain that you get from networking is through a prolonged time. It's through compound interest of knowing this person long enough so the opportunities present themselves.
Yeah,
100%. And again,
definitely.
it's like having this contrast to again quick exchanges, which is what we're used to. Again, like I feel like networking is something that, at the end of the day, bro, it's just a conversation. It's just a conversation. Like the same way that when you're setting, you're having a conversation. And again, I feel like people again like overlook the fact that and kind of overcomplicate in their head what networking actually is. Again, think about it.
Yeah.
I started maybe reached out to probably like 12 set of managers a couple of months ago. We now have multiple different sets of managers that we are in safe hands with, like good connections with,
Mhm.
that when they have offers about for the new setters that join, we can just place them. And again, it's just the fact that I've been talking to these people and talking to these set of managers for the past couple of months, just again, check-ins and how are things going, blah, 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 or like any new offers, like how are you, man? How are things on your end? And again, it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
But again, it can turn into something so much bigger without you even really, I mean, having to do a whole bunch.
Yeah. So what I wanted to actually lead on to now is we've spoken a lot about obviously the benefits of accelerated scaling, where you was at the beginning. Let the viewers know a bit more about where you're at now and some of the achievements that you've been able to get through setting.
Yeah. So obviously the last 9 months I've been setting, like whilst working with you, I've managed to buy myself a whole new car. I'm driving a BMW now from a Peugeot. That's a good
Lovely.
upgrade.
Lovely.
I'm setting on a marketing offer now that pays me a base of 1,500 and then 10% comms on a £3,000 ticket. So, making a good bit of money there, booking a few calls. Um, and yeah, I've worked on multiple different offers. I've spoke to many different people. It's working. Stuff's going good. I've managed to connect with lots of millionaires. I've had a conversation with millionaires. Like a lot of people can say that.
Bro,
Yeah,
I mean, Hayden, how old are you again?
19.
You're 19, bro. And this is
Yeah.
what I mean. You're having conversations with people, 27 plus don't even have. And it's
Mhm.
like, for a fact when you're on this, I suppose you could say you're on this trajectory, you're on this path at 19. It's almost like, well, imagine a couple years down the line, even 2 years down the line. Imagine if you keep going on this upward trajectory, at what point is it like we've made it? Do you know what I mean? Because right
Yeah.
now I think that it's one of these cases where the barrier for entry, especially with things like age, experience as well, appointment setting being stuff you don't actually need experience going into. And there's
Mhm.
not really a true age limit. I feel like, like 17 is a pretty young age, but I think it's 100% doable. You've got other people like Charlie and stuff at 17 that
Yeah.
are absolutely smashing it, making 5K months. But it's just like the thing is, when you've got such easy barrier to entry, it's like you can do this at any point. This is something that's very real for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's like the sooner that you get in, now imagine 5 years, because it's always easy for us to be like, oh, I wish I started 5 years ago. I wish I started years ago. But it's like when you just get in now, whatever age you're at, and you just go all in, it's like now you're getting excited about the future. Now you're getting excited about the next couple of years. And every year is just about growth. And it's so
Yeah.
powerful.
Like,
Definitely.
again, Caden, what were you doing again? Just so obviously we know, but just so the viewers know, what were you doing full time before this?
Yeah, so the barrier of entry is so low to get into this. So obviously I was working in a Toby Carvery cutting meat. I had no sales experience. And I've managed to learn sales to the point where I've managed to do this full time, buy a new car, and be making a lot of money from sales.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's one of those ones where it's like the skill just compounds and compounds. It's just non-stop compounds until you get to a point where it's like what I once thought wasn't a reality for me becomes extremely real. It becomes a point where it's like I didn't think this was so possible, but you got that proof in yourself. Maybe you got your first commissions, maybe you got that first good role,
Mm,
and then you just decided I'm gonna go all in on this. And when you
yeah.
decide to go all in on it, and it's just like I believe in myself, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make this happen, then it's kind of like nothing can stop me.
Yeah. It's like that proof of concept, that small proof of concept can carry that feeling of I can fucking do this for so much further than you probably expect.
100%.
And again, like
Um,
even with you, Callum, bro, it was like you had that proof of concept, and the next thing you did was quit your job and went full
yeah,
in.
no, I was a bit of an anomaly. I don't recommend doing what I did, but I literally got my first commissions like $50. It wasn't even like £50, like $50. And I was like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of Costa. I'm gonna take this risk, and the worst that happens is it doesn't work out, and I and
Like
I
you
and
go
I
back
go
to
back to
Costa,
Costa,
go back to
and it
Costa. But
worked
that is
out,
the
and I've
reality.
I've
Worked
never
out.
been I've never been back. So
Yeah, but it's just amazing that we've all managed to get to a position now where we are never going to have to go back to a normal 9 to 5, a normal working hours job where we're working on somebody else's time. We're never going to have to do it again because again, we all have learned the skill of sales, regardless of whether it's
Mhm.
closing, appointment setting, management, all these other like all these small parts. We're never going to have to go back to a fucking job ever again.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's
exactly.
such a nice feeling knowing that we've actually built these are again, we took the investment, we built up foundation within ourselves to the point where our standards are so high, I couldn't even fathom going back to another job.
Bro,
I don't think I could even let myself. Yeah.
my ego's too high. Like I will find any way other than going back to a 9 to 5. And I don't think I'll ever
Yeah.
need to find another way because I found the way. Right. And that's what I genuinely think is so beneficial is like I'm seeing more people quit their job every day, you know? Like people like Charlie. Charlie is 17. He's just stepped out of sixth form. He's not gonna have to work a nine to
He's never
five
gonna
ever
have to
again.
work. He's
Do you
never
know
gonna
what
have
I
to
mean?
work a job in his life.
And it's like that's ridiculous because at 17 I was working at McDonald's. Then I went to Costa when I hit 18. It's just like, bro, he's never gonna have to go through that grueling experience of 9 to 5 hell. And people like Luke, who was stuck at Audi for pretty much the entirety of being 18 to 20 and being able to quit and finally go all in on something online, something that he actually enjoys and something that doesn't really take too much time. It's so beneficial. And I guess it's in alignment to exactly the way that you was, right? Who the fuck wants to be cutting meat at Toby Carvery for the rest of their life when they could just be making money from their phone daily?
Yeah, I hated it. Absolutely
To,
hated it.
to be fair, Caden, were you able to like sneak some scraps in here and there or what?
Yeah, little bits,
No, it's
bits
cool.
here
I
and
see.
there.
I see.
Just what the one notice.
So I think what I wanted to go through from here is just figure out a bit more about what do you think the main difference between the person who was working and cutting meat at Toby Carvery and also being a apprentice electrician to the person who's now pretty much bought his dream car, is making crazy base money, connecting with millionaires, and the Caden that's right now. What do you think the difference between them two people was?
But the difference was definitely the mindset. I was stuck in the, small town mindset, I guess. I
Small
didn't,
town mindset is a killer.
yeah, I didn't have any friends that were doing anything crazy. Everyone just worked a normal job. No one drove a nice car. I was stuck with that sort of mindset that, it was okay to be like that. And I feel like when I first learned sales and first got my first touch of good money from commissions, my whole mindset just sort of like shifted.
Hmm.
So like there is more out there.
Yeah, and I mean, like when you're in an industry like we're in right now, where money is just being chucked about every single day. Like again, like with the businesses that we work freelance for, they do like 10K days, 20K days, 30K, like literally like 100K weeks. Like we've seen it before, so we know that that's out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, although when you were working at Toby Carvery, or maybe when you were working as an electrician, you might work on one house a day or two sites a day, and then sometimes you see maybe 100 customers come in a day.
Mm.
But then when you're in an online market, there are thousands of thousands of people in these
Mhm.
pipelines.
No, 100%. And Caden, especially towards you as well, I know for a fact that you've made multiple £600 days. And it's like
Yeah.
the idea that that is what you would make in a week at Toby Carvery, right?
Sometimes that was 2 weeks' wage, to be fair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like you were able to make in one day what you would make in 2 weeks of sitting there cutting meat at Toby Carvery.
Yeah, for
Like
12
that.
hours and like
Exactly.
under a heat lamp, sweating. It was not the life.
Exactly. And it's just like I feel like the real difference is the person that you become through this, not really just the money that you make. Obviously, the money it's an aid, it's a tool, but all money does is make the tools in your hand lighter, right?
Yeah.
The person that you become from entering sales and to a year down the line of sales, or 6 months down the line of sales, or even 3 months down the line of sales, just that person that you become, the identity shift. Like I genuinely like have seen so much personal growth within myself. I've seen Sam grow, I've seen you grow, I've seen the boys grow, and just being able to see that person that came in, the person that let fear on their life, the person that was cynical about everything, the person that just really didn't think this life was something that they could achieve, to now where these people have believed in themselves, put in that extra work, put in that grit, and just went all in. You went for it. And then just seeing the person that they've become, their identity shift, their financial shift, they've been able to get the freedom that they've always desired. They've been able to get the location freedom. They don't have to be tied in that one location. They don't have to ask their boss for time off. They don't have to do all these boring things that we all really got into the space to escape. Just seeing that progression between two individuals of the exact same persons is honestly the thing that makes it so fulfilling for me. And it's
Yeah,
entirely why I got into this space.
1,000,000%. It's like the first time I had a call with you. I think your words were, I'm too shy," and I've definitely had a big change since that first phone call.
Bro,
I feel like
that's
I'm a
the
much different person, a lot more confident. Before I was shy, stuck in the same mindset of, I'll
no,
be
100%.
having me until I'm 50.
Bro, it's the same as Maxim. Like I remember the first call that I jumped on with Maxim. The exact same. Like he was outside and he was just the shyest guy. It's almost like you had to like ask things from him and get him
Yeah,
to give you the response because he didn't want to share it. And I don't think you were as shy as Maxim, to be fair, but you could definitely tell you was a bit more reserved. I feel like another thing about sales as well, which is so great, like if you're naturally a more shy and reserved person, I think that sales really brings that confidence out in you. Because there's not
100%.
that place to be shy and reserved in sales. You
No,
Hmm.
can't have that lack of self-belief. You can't have that conviction in yourself. You can't not have that conviction in yourself, sorry. You've got to really truly believe in who you are, believe in your identity, become that person that you always wish you became, and then you really excel. And I think
Yeah.
that's the greatest thing about sales.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, bro, it's not even the goals that you set yourself that again like draw you close to them. It's the habits that you build along the way to create the identity of the person that has those goals and has already achieved those goals. And it's like this contrast between your 1.0 and your 2.0. Your 1.0 being again apprentice Aleki and the guy cutting meat at Toby Carvery. And then your 2.0 is the Caden that has it all, the Caden that's already made it. And it's like you do everything in accordance with that 2.0 self because you know that that 2.0 self won't achieve itself without you putting in the work.
yeah, definitely that.
It's like it's like I can set myself a goal of getting a Rolex, but unless I act in accordance with somebody that owns a Rolex, well, it's not going to happen, is it?
No, but
So
the best thing is being around the people that make more money than
Yeah.
you. You
It's just
sort of become,
exposure, innit?
yeah, yeah,
100%. It's just exposure. Again, it's like we've sat in rooms with people that have done, five-figure months, six-figure months, seven-figure years. And it's like knowing that there is so much abundance out there, it makes it almost like inevitable that you are going to be the next person that achieves these goals just through exposure to these people. And again, like when you come from a small town and you have a small town mindset, it's like you don't see this every day. You don't have these conversations every day until you put yourself in an industry and a situation where the next every other person you talk to makes 10K months, 15K months, 40K months, 50K months. And it's like we would have never have had these conversations in the first place or even had the opportunity to even be in the rooms with these people unless we took that what we once perceived as a gamble on ourselves to make it happen.
what also I see a lot is that people that have this self-doubt going into stuff, they quickly get that self-doubt broken down when they're around someone else doing what they wish they could do. Because it breaks down that wall that if someone else is doing it, I can do it too.
Hmm.
Right. And I think that's a really, really powerful thing. So leading from that, Caden, because we need to wrap up soon, run out of time. What do you think you would say to someone if they told you that they didn't want to invest into us?
they didn't. I'd say you're crazy. Just going off, just going off my story alone, let alone all the other boys. Like, I've gone from Toby Carvery to driving around in a very nice car for a 19-year-old. I get looks all the time. I can't really complain of that. And I don't have to work a job anymore. I'm making money online. It's literally simple as that. I've got a miles better physique as well from this, better mindset. I eat healthier, I eat nicer. Like so many benefits that have all come from me investing into this group and becoming a better version of me. And not even just the whole benefits from just a setting. Like I become a better person from this group. 100%.
Perfect, bro. I really appreciate your time, man.
All good, brother.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you, Caden, bro.
Cheers, bro. See
Cheers.
you in a bit, Sam.
Touch in a bit, man. It's been nice talking to you.
Let's see. Nice to meet you. See you in a bit.